primetime newscast on Equinox Television, we take you to the Southwest Regional Headquarters of Buea, where activities return to normal this Tuesday after the chaotic scene that reigned yesterday in Buea and other parts of the Southwest region of Cameroon. But frightened students are still to return to classrooms as turnout was practically timid in institutions in the Southwest Regional Headquarters of Buea today. Also ahead, we tell you how close to 50 families are now homeless after their houses were demolished today in the economic capital, Douala. Those are headlines. Stay with us for the details. We shall be right back. Good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you so much for joining us in this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. Yesterday, we told you how several parts of the Southwest region of Cameroon yesterday were in chaos after reports of how schools were under attack. It was a similar situation in Limbe. Limbe residents, especially parents and children, were panic-stricken, and several parents were rushing to schools to get their children and pick them up from school and take them home. Our correspondent in Limbe, David Simaimu, captured the chaotic atmosphere in Limbe yesterday. He compiled the following report.
It was of total confusion on the street of Limbe. Parents and guardians running helter-skelter to collect their children from school.
I'm not interested. Yes, the rate at which I'm not ready to speak anything.
Okay.
I don't know, they just call me that to come and pick up my daughter.
The outside is hot. Yes, people are running up and down, children taking their children back to their houses.
School authorities were at a state of dilemma following instruction from the administration not to release the pupils or students, with some playing delaying tactics for parents to sign some papers before collecting their children. The question is, why the mad rush to collect their children from schools?
That some bad guys are coming down. I don't know what kind of guys. I don't know.
If they call this the recanted people was this on bad. So I don't because of street home. Taking us because I want to enter that here with this.
It don't bad. I hear say some gang from my 40 Kandan way. They can't walk this school and also so.
No, there is this room. And I've been seeing parents going up and down. Supposed to come here also.
When government, since the beginning of the Anglophone crisis, had assured parents of their children's total security.
Last year, I went to my picking for the scenario. My picking was playing in nothing here for down. Now I'm going to my picking there. Now there's nothing to my picking there. I'm not let me come here again, no.
Security, where? Have you seen any security person yet? So if they come and burn down the school, and then something happens to my child inside the school, what will I do?
We cannot really trust this kind of situation. The government cannot really secure every school.
We're not sure say government security should protect the people, my people more than the person.
However, classes have resumed, though timidly, following Monday the 15th of January 2018 rumor of an attack to schools.
And Buea woke up this morning in a rather calm atmosphere after allegations of attacks in school yesterday left inhabitants panic-stricken. School resumption this Tuesday was extremely timid, with teachers and local authorities urging parents to send their children to school, reacting to the January 15th incident in some parts of the Southwest region of Cameroon yesterday. The mayor for Buea subdivision said that elites in the region could do more than just being mere observers. Derek Jato takes a look at the aftermath of the yesterday's commotion in the following report.
In Buea, the Southwest regional capital, life is timidly coming back to learning institutions.
Classes are effective, though not all the students are there in class, but classes are effective.
The January 15 incident that saw students and pupils running home, authorities say really punctured the whole school day.
Interrupted the activities that we had yesterday because the second paper that we had to write, we were not able to do that because of the atmosphere.
And today, January 16, 2018, some students and pupils have answered present in their various schools, while others are still at home, reason why school heads in Buea are calling on parents to allow their children come back to school.
We should keep away fear. We should have confidence. We should not always give room for rumors. And we are all encouraging parents to send back their children to school. The campus is calm. There's security.
In Boya, authorities are now diagnosing the January 15 saga that created tremor in each school of the city.
Well, what happened yesterday was a rumor-mongering machine to instill fear on students, people, and parents.
And Mayor Ekema Patrick Esonge of the Buya Council says his analysis has spotted a weak link on the part of some school administrators.
And I want to say that it gained ground because some of the school administrators were partisan to the rumor, and so they could start sending their students running, and of course the neighboring school definitely catches fever.
And for the fact that the rumor was able to penetrate, and within 10 minutes, for instance, a town like Boya was halted, is a big lesson, and the authorities on their part have taken serious note.
Yes, you can see the business places are functioning, markets are operational, schools are reopening, but that is not enough. We are going to the field to assure and reassure the people and tell them not to get into such dirty traps.
Recently, Mayor Ekema Patrick Esonge received an award from the Southwest Elite Association, Swela, as the best mayor for 2017. While thanking Swela for the big recognition, Mayor Ekema Patrick Esonge also called on some of the Southwest elites still hanging on the fence to either jump in or out. For them, being neutral on the Anglophone crisis is acting as a locomotive, transporting fear and confusion into the population of the region.
And for the representatives of the elites to sit and distinguish me, I think it's formidable. What is fascinating is that a good number of elites are hanging on the fence to see where the wind will blow. If it's west, they will fall on west. If it is east, they fall on east. That attitude of hanging on top of the fence is so Hippocratic. We think that it is high time we take a resolute stand.
At press time, Boya was calm, though the January 15 incident was still dominating thoughts in the city.
Boya, the southwest region where a relative calm is now reigning like other parts of the southwest region of Cameroon, and shortly after the reactions of the senior divisional officer for Meme Division and the governor of the southwest region of Cameroon yesterday, should be noted that the Minister of Secondary Education, Masena Ngale Bibehe Jean Ernest, has equally reacted. He issued a communique indicating that what prevailed yesterday in the southwest region of Cameroon was total rumor by people that he so far described as those with bad intentions. He called on parents and school kids to go to school, parents to send their children to school, and equally assure them that their security is going to be guaranteed. We are following up developments in the two Anglophone regions of Cameroon. We, of course, will be keeping you updated. As we announced in the headlines, tens of families in Douala are now homeless. They are victims of forceful evictions. The inhabitants of Esenge had been occupying the piece of land for several years now that is belonging to the Douala seaport. They were forcefully kicked out last night, as Babila Jonathan tells us in the following report.
Forceful eviction from state-owned land sends tens of families out of their homes in Esenge in the Douala 1 subdivision. Their houses were destroyed overnight in view of compelling them to quit the land owned by the Douala seaport.
They told us that they want to trace out their route around here. So we never knew that it was something very serious. But at about 3 o'clock, they only informed us that they were already out to come and destroy our houses. When you look at behind me, you see a lot of houses that has been destroyed. People are standing outside with their families.
The inhabitants had been asked to leave the area December 1, 2017, but they stood against the administrative injunction, claiming to have acquired their different portions of land through legal procedures. They are now homeless, many of them stranded, helpless, confused and frustrated.
There's no way, people, they don't even know where to go. In fact, we don't know what to say. We cannot imagine that in Cameroon, the SDO, the GO are outside with the forces of law to come and, in fact, to come and remove the population. What do they want the Cameroonians to do? Cameroonians, we have become refugees in our own country. What do they want us to do? They want us to pick knives and get into the street and we keep on destroying, we become bandits on the street. It is not fair what the government of this country has done, especially here in Esenge.
They are sending a distress call to the Yaoundé administration.
We want that the authorities, especially those in Yaoundé, because we know that what has happened here in Douala, might be the administrative here in Douala, they know what is happening. But I don't believe that might be in Yaoundé, the authorities in Yaoundé, they know what is happening here. So we are calling on those who are up there to really come and assist us. Because where we are standing now, we don't know where to go.
In the meantime, many inhabitants of big cities like Yaoundé and Douala continue occupying forbidden zones or state-owned lands and could be forcefully evicted at any time by public authorities.
We take you to the northwest region of Cameroon, where it's destined to inmates of the Bamenda Central Prison is still to reach the final destination after the donor was denied access into the detention center. The Aya Foundation, which is the brain behind the said initiative, is so far decrying injustice, while penitentiary officials in the northwest region say that they were not notified on time. Our reporter Katrin Kone, Katrin Kone and Bu Stella compiled this report.
A delegation from the Aya Foundation stranded in front of the Bamenda Central Prison. Food items brought for the detainees were prohibited by prison authorities from entering the detention center.
I dispatched a team of my foundation, some of much needed food supplies, medication, clothing, and basic necessities to detainees at the Bamenda Central Prison. We applied formally to do that.
The three-man delegation stayed outside for several hours, after which they were told to get an authorization from Yaoundé that would permit them get access into the prison.
And we were given a call by the prison administration telling us we are not permitted to come there and that we have to go to Yaoundé to get an authorization to come and offer this humanitarian aid to the base in the Bamenda Central. So for 48 hours we have been stuck here with these parishioners, and we are trying to find a way to send this stuff to the prison and not go there because we've been barred from going there. So that's why we are still here.
The humanitarian gesture which the foundation usually carried out to inmates in several prisons in the country, that of the Bamenda Central Prison proved indifferent.
The Aya Foundation, as you already know, is a humanitarian organization that takes care of vulnerable people. They have no political or religious affiliations. They've been successfully visiting the detainees in Boya and Yaoundé, and it's always in Bamenda that we have an issue. I don't know why. So we're just hoping that they can permit us to offer this aid to people here. We try to find a way to send the foodstuff to them, either through some benevolence Christians or through the prison administration, without necessarily going in, since we've been told we cannot go in except we go and get an authorization from Yaoundé.
According to the superintendent of the Bamenda Central Prison, who spoke off camera, revealed that the Aya Foundation deposited the application a day before visit, which to them is too close to scheduled date for their visit. He says asking the foundation to take permission from Yaoundé is a normal procedure respected by all. The team of the Aya Foundation did not give up their intention, thinking of a way out. They wonder why, after successfully carrying out such activities in other prisons within the country, they are asked to take authorization from Yaoundé to donate food items to Anglophone detainees in the Bamenda Central Prison.
And now, in politics, a platform for a new republic has been created with Barrister Akere Mona endorsed as candidate in the 2018 elections in Cameroon. The platform constitutes 5 opposition political parties, including the AFP party of Ali Sadio and civil society groups. The platform, led by Jacques Maboul, as president, is open to other opposition parties, but they should be ready to accept and rally behind the coordinator of the Now movement, that is Barrister Akere Mona's candidate for the 2018 presidential elections. How successful would this movement be when the history of opposition coalition in Cameroon has so far recorded a failed mark since 2004? Cameroonians are waiting to see the impact of the said platform that is not the first of its kind as far as the 2018 elections in Cameroon is concerned. We continue with politics. The Union de Population du Cameroon, the UPC political party, has decried the fact that Cameroon's diversity that is supposed to be advantageous for her development is rather dividing the country as far as the Anglophone crisis is concerned. The crisis came into limelight during the commemoration of the nationalist fighter, the death of the nationalist fighter Ernest Wanji, that took place in Bafoussam of the West region of Cameroon. Babla Jonathan has the details.
The Anglophone crisis took central stage in this 47th anniversary of the death of nationalist fighter Ernest Wanji in Cameroon's West regional chief town Bafoussam. Through the theme Anglophone crisis, diversity is our strength, the Union de Population du Cameroon comrades of the nationalist fighter expressed their concern over the socio-political unrest hitting the northwest and southwest regions. They lament over the fact that diversity that is supposed to be a strength for national development is rather a source of conflict, threatening national unity and the well-being of the nation and her people, which the nationalists fought to death to achieve.
La jeunesse du Cameroun doit s'engager.
The UPCs are urging young people to fight like their forefathers to consolidate the unity of the nation.
Pour cette unité qu'est mort Ernest Wanji, les valeurs de patriotisme.
And this requires upholding patriotic values and fighting against corruption, as Ernest Wanji did at his own time for the liberation of Cameroon and the entire African continent.
Babla Jonathan there reporting. Now we talk sports, football. The CAF delegation that has been in Cameroon for the past days arrived at the economic capital Douala today. While in Douala, the delegation visited some 2 pitches, precisely the Japoma Stadium and its annex, alongside the Mbapelepe training pitch in Akwa in the economic capital Douala, as well as other hotel facilities. The delegation would end its tour in the economic capital Douala on Wednesday, that is tomorrow, with the visit to other pitches and some sports facilities in the economic capital Douala. We, of course, would be coming back to that in our subsequent newscast. We continue with sports football. The Intermediate Lions of Cameroon that would in few minutes from now be taking on Congo, as far as the competition that is ongoing in Morocco is concerned. Is going to be the first outing of the Intermediate Lions of Cameroon since the competition began last week. Saturday, the team had earlier mentioned that they are combat ready to secure a victory in the set competition in their first outing. Today, it should be noted that they carried out their first training session, their last, of course, before the encounter of today, with in the presence of the head coach Rigobert Song, after which there was a press conference in Morocco where the competition is taking place. And that brings us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. Viewers, we thank you so much for joining us. We wish you a blessed stay in the company of our programs. Until we meet again, goodbye.